Today, I'm going to show you how to make the absolute best sweet potato casserole. Hi, my name is Christina. I am with eatingonadime.com. Thank you so much for joining me today in my kitchen. We have been doing a series for the best 10 recipes to make an easy Thanksgiving. And today, I am showing you how to make the best and the easiest sweet potato casserole. You cannot have Thanksgiving without sweet potato casserole. So I'm going to show you how to do it with very little work, but still all the flavor. I have linked today's recipe in the description below. Make sure that you check that out. Also, to celebrate Thanksgiving, we have released our first ever Thanksgiving cookbook, Thanksgiving Made Easy, and we are giving it to you for 50% off. I have linked that in the description below. If you are intimidated by cooking a Thanksgiving meal at home, this digital cookbook will release all your fears, guys. It teaches you how to make Thanksgiving dinner without much work, but all the flavor. All right, let's get cooking. So for our sweet potato casserole, what we like to do is make a traditional mashed sweet potatoes. We layer it in a baking dish. We mix in some nuts and of course, top it with marshmallows at the end. So first thing you need to do is get the sweet potatoes peeled. So for today's recipe, I am using approximately 3 pounds of sweet potatoes. And I do not like the skin in this casserole. I want it nice and creamy, so we're just gonna completely peel all of these away. And then we're going to dice these into smaller pieces. So we are gonna mash them, so I wouldn't stress about the size too much when you're dicing them. I do dice them into smaller pieces just so that they boil quicker, but that's completely up to you and the time constraints that you have when you're making this. So we're just gonna get all of these diced up. Now, do not put the peels in your garbage disposal, guys. Did that when I was a new cook in my new house, had to call my dad over and fix the garbage disposal. Potato peels should not go in the garbage disposal. What I do is this is the produce bag that I bought the potatoes in from the grocery store, and I just peel them right into there and it makes cleanup a breeze. I just fold it up and clean it up. So that's what I do, but you do you. Some people have a nice trash bowl when they cook, and I like that as well. So the potatoes are peeled. Let's get them diced up to boil them. We always talk about all you need is a really good big knife in your kitchen. I've linked this one in the description below. I do sharpen it, so I have a sharpener as well. So if you don't have a big budget, just get one good knife that'll do everything. And this is the one that we love, and it's awesome. So to dice up these potatoes, I'm gonna cut them in half lengthwise, and then cut them a half each one again to quarter them. And then put them together just for speed. And then just slowly, not slowly, but just cut them down horizontally to dice them into smaller cubes. This is just gonna make them boil really quickly and get nice and soft. So that's the size that I do. Let me show you up close here. I'm gonna say it's about 2 inches, 1 to 2 inches big. So we're just gonna get all of these diced up and then get them in some boiling water to make the delicious mashed potato or mashed sweet potato filling. This one was kind of wonky, so I'm just doing each section differently. Once all the potatoes are diced up, add them carefully to a pot of boiling water. You're just wanting the water to cover the potatoes. And we're just gonna let these boil for about 15 to 20 minutes until they're fork tender. Once they've all been added, just make sure that the water covers them completely. This pot might have been just a little bit too small, but I think we'll make it work for today. So it's been boiling for about 15 minutes, and you're just wanting it to they fall apart easily when you stab them with a fork. Like that is just falling right apart, and then you know that it is done. So I'm gonna go ahead and drain these sweet potatoes and put them in a mixing bowl so we can go ahead and get them mashed up. Before we start mashing the potatoes, make sure to preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. So before we mash up these potatoes, make sure that you spray a 9x13 baking dish with nonstick spray. And we're just gonna set that aside for when these potatoes are ready. All right, so we got the oven going and the pan is ready. Now it's time to mash up these sweet potatoes. So I drained off the liquid from the potatoes and I put them in this mixing bowl just because I didn't want to scratch my pan by mixing them up. So you can mash up these potatoes two ways. You can mash them by hand with the potato masher, or you can use a handheld mixer. I'm using a handheld mixer just with the traditional beaters on, not the whisk beaters, and it works great. So before we mash them up, let's add a little butter. Can't be Thanksgiving without butter. We're gonna do a half a cup of butter or one whole stick. You do want this softened somewhat, but I like to mash my potatoes when they're still warm, and the heat from the potatoes is really gonna soften this up. So if you're just mashing them when they're warm, you should be good. We're gonna throw that right in. Then we're gonna do 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, salt, and pepper. So this is ground cinnamon. And go ahead and keep these out because we are gonna taste test these at the end and add more based on our preferences. And then we're gonna do 1/4 teaspoon of salt and pepper. I grind my own, guys, so I just eyeball it, measure it out if you measure yours out. Again, leave these out as well because we're going to taste test it before putting it in the baking dish. So once everything's been adding to the mixing bowl, just get your handheld mixer and we're just going to mash these up. I just start out on low speed until they start to break down. They should break down pretty easily after we boil them. And then you can increase the speed as needed. And you can mash these based on your preference. If you like a little bit chunkier, you can just mash them by hand and leave some chunks, and that's great as well. So this is when you want to do your taste testing. This is my favorite part about cooking in the kitchen, is getting to taste test. Perfect. It needs a little more salt for my preference, but the cinnamon amount is great and the pepper is great. I just like a little more salt. So go ahead and taste test it at that time and mix it in. Then for this recipe, we do use chopped pecans. Some people like pecans, some people don't. If you're not a big fan, you can definitely leave it out and it'll still be amazing. For the entire recipe, we use 3/4 cup chopped pecan. I bought free chopped pecans just to save time. Go ahead and stir half in of those right now into your sweet potato mixture and leave the other half for topping. You just want to stir them in until they're incorporated. I don't do this with the handheld mixer just because it obliterates the nuts and makes them way too soft. Just going to stir them right on in. And then we're going to take that mixture and pour it into that prepared baking dish that we talked about just a little bit ago. Sorry, this bowl is huge. Oh, there's our oven is ready. That's awesome. Perfect timing because this is almost ready to go into the oven. So pour your mashed sweet potatoes right in that prepared baking dish and spread it out into an even layer. Once it's all spread out, top it with 2 cups of mini marshmallows. This definitely makes or breaks a sweet potato casserole, in my opinion. We cannot have it without the marshmallow topping. So we're going to add those right on top and just spread them around, again, as even layer as possible. And then top with your remaining chopped pecans as well. And this is going to go on the top with those marshmallows. Sprinkle them right on top. And this is going to go right into the oven, and we're going to bake it until those marshmallows are nice and brown. Then bake for 25 minutes. It's been cooking for about 25 minutes and those marshmallows are nice and browned. Once it's done, make sure to let it rest to cool slightly because it's going to be really hot when it comes out of the oven. And you want all those flavors to fully set. So let it set for about 10 to 15 minutes and then it's ready to serve. Once the casserole has set, it is ready to serve. I cannot wait to try this. So I was looking at the videos before. The marshmallows are showing a little bit darker on the videos. You're just wanting them to be a nice golden brown color, and you will want to watch them closely. When serving this, I do use a spoon because those potatoes underneath are mashed, and I just scoop it right on up and it serves perfectly and amazingly. Let's talk about a few Thanksgiving details. We are always looking to make things ahead and make things early. This casserole can be made the night before. What I would do is mash the sweet potatoes, layer it in the baking pan, and then stop at that step. Cover it, refrigerate it. Then on Thanksgiving Day, when you're getting all your sides ready, let it come to room temperature. Then top it with the marshmallows and the chopped up pecans before baking it, and it'll work out great. I know we're always looking to do as much as possible the day before so we can enjoy as much time as possible with family on Thanksgiving. Leftovers freeze and refrigerate great. They will last up to about a week-ish, stored in the refrigerator in an airtight container, and you can freeze them for up to 3 months. On casseroles, I usually put them in aluminum freezer-safe pans, and that works awesome. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me today in my kitchen. I hope I've inspired you to make easy casseroles at home for Thanksgiving this year. Don't forget the link is in the description below for this recipe and for our new digital cookbook, Thanksgiving Made Easy. Make sure that you check that out. And don't forget, like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of our videos of our family-friendly recipes that you can definitely make at home. All right, I cannot wait to try this. Thanksgiving is coming early in my house. You guys have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow with another fun, easy holiday recipe. Bye, friends. It's delicious. Tastes like Thanksgiving.